Something I've always heard is that computers are just ones and zeros, but I have no idea what that even means.
That it is accurate. Um, so what's interesting about binary, so that's the number system that computers use is binary, 1 and 0.
Uh-huh.
As a programmer, you never touch that. That's a thing that hardware people deal with.
Okay.
But the reason that computers are like that is, once again, some very smart people figured out that that was the right way to go. It was actually kind of contentious in the early period, but the reason that they eventually land upon using binary is because computers are electronic, at least the computers we use today. There's some predecessors that aren't, but that kind of hurts my mind to think about. So I keep that a little bit away from me for safety.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Anyway, so since they're electronic, you have a wire and it can either be on or off. There's no ambiguity.
Right.
You can have analog ambiguity, but that leads to problems. So the best way to do it is to have a wire that can either be on or off, nothing in between. And that corresponds really well to a binary number system where you just have ones and zeros, where a zero is off and a one is on. That's important because using a binary number system, there were already well-established proofs for how you can translate between binary and decimal, so the 10-digit number system we use today, or humans use in general. Us flesh folk, not the silicon folk.
Sure.
But so because there's already this robust kind of mathematical system for using binary to build up more complex operations, it ends up working really well with electronic circuitry. Does that kind of make sense? Did that answer the question?
I understand the electronic circuitry stuff of there just kind of being an on and off thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because
then
I can go deeper if you need more.
Yeah, I want some more.
All right. So what the other reason that binary is central to computing is this idea of logic operations. So, you have and, or, not. There's a few others, but the idea is, oh man, I have to explain logic tables. If you've ever taken a logic class as an elective in college, basically how it works is you have these fancy tables. It's part of the binary math system. And you can put in two inputs that are either true or false each and get an output that's either true or false. And so something like the AND gate or the AND logic operator takes two inputs. If they're both 1 and 1 or on and on, then it gives you a 1. If they're 0 and 0, it gives you a 1. But if they're 1 and 0 or 0 and 1, it gives you a 0. So it's these logic operations end up being the core of computing because there's really efficient electronic devices that can do it. So actually, if you'll give me just 1 second.
Yes, go ahead.
I keep a shelf of stuff. This is a vacuum tube, which I don't remember the exact operation this one does, but you can use this as a physical device that does a logic operation. So let's say, for argument's sake, this tube can do an AND operation. These start being produced in the 1920s, and they can make them in bulk and very reliably by the 1930s. And so how it would work is you can wire in two signals. When it gets those signals, it does the logic operation and then outputs those signals. So there's this jump once these start appearing from and relays, and there's a few other devices that can do the same thing. But you have a physical way to do this mathematical operation. So that ties, hey, we can build something that actually emulates these mathematics that we've already been doing for generations. And we know how to, from very complicated theorems, go from, if you have enough AND operations and a few others, you can do addition of two numbers. So some researchers figure out, well, we take like 10 of these and hook up some circuitry. We can put in a number, add them together, and output the sum. Does that make sense?
Okay, I think let me review here and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. So you can send in, like, let's say you were talking about that table, right? Or the different chart. So you can send in like a 1 or a 0, and then another 1 or a 0.
It would just it just takes two inputs. So one input that's either a 1 or a 0, and then one that's a 1 or a 0.
Okay, I get it. So you have and then your outcomes, you have 1 1, 1 0, 0 1, and 0 0.
Your outcome would be just one digit, right? So if you have put in 1 1, you get 1. You put in 1 0, you get 0. 0 1, you get 0. 0 0, you get 1.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, I get that.
Need diagrams.
Yeah, diagrams. Okay. Okay, so I get that. So how is that helpful?
It's helpful because, like I was saying, there's already a whole field of mathematics that's devoted to binary number systems. So they know that researchers know that you can take binary numbers and doing these really simple operations on it eventually build up towards doing addition. So if you do something like, I forget the exact chaining because it's kind of confusing to me, but if you have the right series of logic operations, then instead of just like comparing two numbers and being like, oh, they're the same, put out a 1, you can add together larger numbers. Or you can do the same for subtraction or any math operation. Okay. And so once these come along and researchers figure out that, oh yeah, we have a physical device that does this very simple task, well, we already have all the theory for it. So they just have to take all the mathematical diagrams and charts they've been doing in Theoryville and then build it using these.
Okay, I see. So it just gets more and more complicated.
Yeah, and once you can do it using some electronic device or some analog device, if you're really early, then instead of just having researchers and people doing grunt work with pens and paper, you can automate it. Yeah. And over time, that just builds and builds until it hits the critical mass where we have computers.
Right. Okay. That's so cool. I would love to see like the physical, like using that bulb, like the physical thing that you first talked about, where there's like just 10 of those or whatever, you know. That would be cool to see.
There's a lot of demos online doing that you can look up, like vacuum tube binary adder would probably be what you'd want to Google for.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, and also just going back to something else you were mentioning, these suckers are the reason why computers were so big early on. Oh. Because at most, I think the most dense ones could do like 3 logic operations.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. This is my dog, Murphy, and these are dog treats. Now I'll give Murphy one of these dog treats, and all you have to do is press the like button. Just press that little like button right down there at the bottom of this video, and this sweet, adorable, cute little puppy gets a treat. All thanks to you. All right, you did it? Okay, I believe you if you said you did it. There you go, Murph. She got that treat because of you. Now, I'll eat one of these treats, and all you have to do is click that subscribe button right there, pointing to it. Just click that subscribe button, subscribe to Curiosityness with me, Travis DeRose. Get lots of good video, and I'll eat this treat. All right, you did that too? That's not very good. For real, not very.